All right, today we're going to talk about a super old story, one you probably heard as a kid, an Aesop's fable. But what's wild is how much it has to say about our lives right now. I'm talking about everything from your job to your family. So let's get into it.
Okay, so get this. Individual strength is easily broken, but unity creates an unbreakable shield against misfortune. Think about that for a second. It's a total paradox, right? How can something we think of as strong be so fragile? And how can something like unity, which you can't even touch, become a literal shield? This one idea, this is the key to everything we're about to cover.
So to really get what this is all about, we have to go back to the original story. And like a lot of powerful lessons, this one starts with a family that just can't get along. So you've got this father, right? And he has a bunch of sons who are just constantly fighting, all the time. He's tried talking to them, but it's not working. And he's watching this constant conflict just threaten to tear his family apart from the inside out.
So, since talking clearly isn't getting him anywhere, the father decides to try something else, a physical demonstration. He grabs a bunch of sticks, ties them up real tight into a bundle, and gives his sons a very simple command.
And each son gives it a shot. I mean, they use all their strength, the same kind of strength they're so proud of when they're arguing with each other. But nothing. The bundle doesn't even budge. It's completely unbreakable.
Okay, and this is the moment where everything changes. The father does something super simple. He just unties the bundle. He removes that one little thing that gave the sticks all their power, that string holding them together. And then he just hands the single sticks back to his sons. And what was totally unbreakable just a minute ago, now it's incredibly weak. They snap them one by one with no effort at all. The proof is right there in their hands. You just can't argue with it. So, once the demonstration is over, the father lays out the lesson. And it's so direct, so powerful, he tells them, look, when you're divided, you're no stronger than one of those single sticks. Their fighting doesn't make them strong. It actually makes them weak, vulnerable, and really, really easy to break. So, the story itself is pretty simple, right? But what it means, that's huge. This isn't just some nice little tale about getting along. No, it's a strategic lesson for, survival and success. Let's really break down what the father's wisdom is all about.
And this leads us to a really tough question, one the fable practically forces you to ask. Why is it that a group of just okay individuals, when they're united, are actually stronger than a team of brilliant superstar individuals who are all in conflict? I mean, our whole culture celebrates the lone genius, right? But this story says that a team of average folks who are all on the same page will always beat a team of superstars who are fighting each other. So why is that?
Well, it comes down to this idea called strategic vulnerability. See, all that internal fighting? It's not just some private drama. It's a giant, flashing sign to the rest of the world, to your competition, your rivals, or even just bad luck, that you are weak, that you're exposed. All that bickering is basically an open invitation for disaster to walk right in.
And this breaks it down perfectly. You basically have two ways to exist. On one side, you've got discord. You're like that single stick, fragile, divided, totally vulnerable. But on the other side, you have unity. You become the bundle, and now you're unbreakable, you're aligned, and you're honestly formidable. The best part? The choice between these two states, that's completely up to us. Okay, but this isn't just some dusty old story. This ancient wisdom is a super practical guide for dealing with the problems we all face today. So let's bring it home and see how this whole fable plays out in your life, in three really common situations.
All right, first up, the personal challenge. Think about it. Trying to tackle a huge life change all by yourself, a new career, moving to a new city, some massive personal goal. You're just setting yourself up for burnout. You're being that single stick. So what's the solution? You gotta bundle up. That could mean setting up weekly calls with a mentor, or even just starting a group chat with friends who are going through the same thing. Okay, number two, the family crisis. When siblings are fighting, it makes the whole family easy pickings for outside problems. The answer is to present a unified front. That means actually agreeing on how you'll communicate before a crisis hits. And finally, number three, the divided office. You know the type. People hoarding information, trying to look good on their own. Well, that just makes everyone on the team look disposable. The real solution is to get that success is a team sport. It means sharing info openly, maybe in a shared doc, and asking how can we fix this instead of just who messed up.
So we know the upside of unity is huge, right? But man, is it easy to fall into the trap of division. So let's look at the common mistakes people make that leave them all alone, like a single stick just waiting to get snapped in half.
Yeah, here are the big ones. First, there's the ego trap, just believing your own individual strength is going to be enough. It's not. Second, mistaking winning an argument with someone on your own team for actual success. That's a huge one. Winning a fight doesn't mean you won the war. Third, and this is so important, forgetting that the bond, that string, is where the real power comes from. And lastly, just being naive enough to think your enemies are going to pause and wait for you to stop fighting amongst yourselves. Trust me, they won't. They'll pounce.
Okay, so we've seen the dangers, we know what not to do. So how do we actually become the bundle? How do we make that choice? Because it's not just about, feeling all warm and fuzzy. It's about a real commitment to being strong together.
And this is maybe the biggest mind shift of all. We tend to think of unity as a feeling, right? Something that just happens. But what if it's not? What if unity is actually a strategic decision? You stop waiting to feel like a team. You just decide to act like one, because you understand it's the only way to be truly strong.
And here's a super simple, powerful mantra to remember. I will stop moping and start bundling. Think about it. Moping around after a fight gets you nowhere. The only useful thing to do is to get over it and start bundling, actively reconnecting and making those bonds even stronger. And I love this one because it shows you that unity is a two-way street. I protect the bundle, so the bundle can protect me. You have to put in the work. You got to protect your people, prioritize the group's health. And in return, when you're the one under pressure, that strong, unbreakable bundle will be there to have your back.
And maybe, just maybe, this is the deepest lesson in the whole story. We're always so focused on our own talents, our individual sticks. But maybe the Father's real gift wasn't the sticks at all. Maybe it was the string, the relationships, the trust, the bonds that hold us together. That's the real source of power.
So when you boil it all down, here's the thing. The world only snaps the people who insist on standing alone. This isn't something that just happens to us. It's often a choice we make, a choice to isolate ourselves. And this old story is the ultimate warning against making that choice. So the final question for you isn't if you need a bundle, it's how are you going to start building yours?